Did Pope Francis, with his fading heartbeat, secretly guide the Church toward its next leader? A sealed envelope in the Vatican vaults, hushed corners of the conclave, and a frail wave on Easter morning all hint at a decision already made. Prophecy or careful planning. Either way, evidence keeps piling up, and insiders swear Francis chose not with politics, but with prayer. The eve of Easter, a cryptic farewell. Saturday's sunlight bathed the apostolic palace. Francis sat motionless, breath thin yet eyes bright. Only a few aides and one unnamed senior cardinal hovered close. Leaning forward, the Pope whispered, "The shepherd is ready to go, but the next has already been called." Goosebumps rippled through the room. A final wave, then silence. 24 hours later, he stood on St. Peter's balcony, smiled, blessed thousands, and disappeared behind marble doors, never to return. Echoes in the corridors quickly morphed into one electrifying question. Did he just reveal the next pope? Hints in his last weeks. Confidants recall Francis stressing continuity, future, and one who shares my heart. No names, no decree, until a pocket-sized Argentine journal published a line saying Francis had voiced who he hoped would follow him. Within hours, Rome buzzed like a beehive. The envelope that could change everything. Long before Easter, Francis penned a personal letter to a single trusted cardinal, wax-sealed and hand-delivered. The note reportedly carries blessings, fears, and guidance for steering the Church forward. Aides admit the envelope exists and will be opened only after the conclave begins. One whispered, "He didn't choose, he guided." The thought of a pope influencing ballots from beyond the grave rattles traditionalists. Why the letter matters. Canon law blocks any formal appointment, yet nothing bars heartfelt advice. If that letter list preferred shepherds, its moral weight could sway dozens of cardinals in moments. He has my spirit. Francis's mysterious praise. Throughout his pontificate, Francis spoke sparingly, except when Cardinal Luis Antonio Tegel's name surfaced. Then his tone warmed, almost fatherly. He has my spirit. Both men hail from outside Europe, grew up modestly, and placed the poor at the center of every homily. Francis once told friends, Tegel doesn't need a crown to lead. He leads by love. Tegel's journey from Manila streets to Vatican corridors. Raised in a working-class Manila neighborhood, Tegel sold vegetables as a child, studied by candlelight, and bicycled through slums to pray with the sick. Ordained young, he earned a doctorate abroad, then returned to wash the feet of street children every Holy Thursday. His life sings of mercy, a pontiff's quiet protege. Simple dinners of soup and bread cemented his bond with Francis. Soon Tegel helmed Caritas, rushed aid after typhoons, and later steered the Church's worldwide missionary office. Roles that draped him in global credibility, assignments that speak volumes. Each new brief put Tegel closer to the papal pulse. Disaster relief in Mozambique, Tegel went. Peace talks in Myanmar, Tegel spoke. Vatican watchers saw a pattern. Whenever heavy pastoral work arose, Francis sent Tegel. Numbers don't lie. Francis's voting bloc. Over 70% of the current electors wear red hats Francis bestowed. Many come from Asia, Africa, or Latin America, regions where Tegel's accent and empathy resonate. If they rallied together, the decision could arrive in record time. Debate behind high walls. Traditionalists fear any hint of an anointed heir threatens conclave secrecy. Reformers counter that Francis merely ensured the flock stays protected. Cloister corridors pulse with guarded conversations, yet no one dares go public. White smoke will settle the argument. Inside the apostolic palace, a moment branded in memory. Witnesses describe the Pope's study glowing in late afternoon light. Dust danced through sunbeams, ancient maps rustled, and a candle sputtered as Francis spoke those fateful words. From whisper to roar, Rome reacts. That tiny Argentine article was buried on page 3 of a diocesan periodical, yet within hours Italian bloggers posted screenshots, Spanish radio hosts debated names, and American cable shows ran midnight segments. The Vatican press office stayed stone silent, and silence only fueled the fire. rumors versus ritual. Canon lawyers insist a pope cannot bind a conclave, yet moral authority is powerful. Some cardinals view Francis's hints as pastoral guardrails, not coercion, while critics claim they bend protocol. The clash between law and legacy crackles in every backroom meeting. Inside the vault, the envelope's journey. Sources say the envelope traveled under Swiss Guard escort to the Secretary of State, logged, resealed, and stored beside centuries-old relics. Rumor adds Francis updated it twice after hospital stays, keeping pace with the Church's shifting challenges. Potential contents, more than a name. Veteran Vaticanists think the packet holds reflections on mercy, a plea to protect migrants, and perhaps a short list of shepherds who embody the next Peter. Tegel's heart in action. During Manila's 2013 typhoon disaster, Tegel slept on church floors, bringing rice to families who'd lost everything. That heartfelt response earned him the nickname, the Crying Cardinal, a badge of sincerity fatigued Catholics admire. Conversations over soup. In Rome, Francis and Tegel often shared pumpkin soup at Casa Santa Marta. Their laughter carried down corridors as they swapped stories of overcrowded parishes and makeshift altars. Caritas and crisis diplomacy. As Caritas president, Tegel secured relief corridors in Syria and organized parish networks that beat government aid to cholera-stricken Haiti. Compassion met logistics, and won inside the Curia, subtle signals. Officials recall Francis's marginal notes. Ask Tegel. Good for Tegel to review. Tegel understands. Those scribbles now read like neon arrows toward succession. Electoral math. Why geography matters. 45 electors hail from the global south, regions scarred by poverty and persecution. A Cameroonian archbishop confided, "We need a pope who knows our pain." Tegel knows. A church at the crossroads. Abuse investigations, financial scandals, and global conflicts demand a healer-in-chief. Many believe Tegel's Tear Street compassion could soothe wounds while his record tightens loose screws. Tension before the smoke. Hotels near the Vatican report record bookings from media outlets braced for a brief conclave. Cardinals pace marble cloisters, praying the Holy Spirit cuts through the noise. Architect and builder, a closing comparison. A veteran analyst quipped, Francis sketched a blueprint for a merciful global church. Tegel is ready to lay the bricks. That line echoes tonight on every Roman terrace. Papal powers shift, silence before the smoke. As the Sistine Chapel doors close, the city beneath waits in breathless hush. No cell phones, no leaks, only prayer ballots and suppressed excitement. Reporters stake out every antechamber, watching cardinals slip past in black cassocks. Whispers swirl. Who carries Francis's vision? Insiders insist the envelope spirit already guides their votes. The College of Cardinals, Francis's legacy of voters. Few realize a retiring pope can't name his successor, but he can choose the electors. Over 12 years, Francis redrew the deck, elevating bishops from Africa, Asia, Latin America, and even Oceania. He gave the global South more voices than ever. Now, that diverse bloc carries his reformist torch, ready to cast ballots in unison. A strategic red hat campaign. By appointing over 70% of today's cardinals, Francis ensured a majority share his priorities. Mercy for migrants, care for the poor, and outreach over dogma. Many of these new red hats share a bond with Tegel. They met him at synods, relief missions, and college retreats. Their loyalty could tip the scales when white smoke finally curls above St. Peter's. Why geography matters. In past conclaves, Europe dominated the vote, but this time the global South outnumbers them for the first time. Cardinals from Manila to Maputo, Sao Paulo to Sydney, carry first-hand memories of poverty and persecution, realities Tegel has lived and led through. A West African prelate mused, "We need someone who's walked our dusty paths." Many feel Tegel fits that calling. The conclave's hidden dynamics. Inside those frescoed walls, alliances form in quiet side chapels. Small prayer groups pray for guidance. Others hold clandestine discussions over rosary beads. They compare notes on Francis's signals, the sealed letter, private praises, and Easter farewell. Some hold copies of his marginal notes, passed discreetly among sympathizers. Each gesture adds weight to one rising name, Tegel. Envelope versus electorate, moral weight over law. According to canonists, the sealed note holds no legal force, yet few doubt its moral pull. A cardinal from a war-torn nation confided, "If the Holy Father entrusted his counsel to paper, who are we to ignore it?" Traditionalists grumble, branding it undue influence. Reformers call it pastoral care in action. The tension crackles like static electricity. Tegel's quiet momentum. Outside St. Peter's, pilgrims pray by candlelight, murmuring Tegel's name. In Rome's cafes, bishops sip espresso, trading rumors of when and how the letter will surface. One Monsignor joked, "We'll know who won before the ballots are counted." Yet deep inside, every vote is private. No one can be sure until the final tally. The final ballots, a race to the finish. As cardinals file back into the chapel for successive rounds, alliances are tested. 2/3 of votes are needed initially, then absolute majorities, with Francis's appointees holding sway. Tegel needs only a handful of swing votes from Europe. Analysts predict the second or third scrutiny could seal his fate, if the envelope's whisper proves irresistible. Whispered blessings, symbolism and silence. Observers note a curious ritual. On the final morning, several cardinals pause at the tomb of John Paul II, tracing incense smoke heavenward. They recite a special prayer Francis favored. "Lead us, shepherd, from beyond the veil." Some see it as homage to his letter's guidance, a silent nod to the departed pope's enduring sway. Servant of the servants, a pope for our time. Tegel's supporters evoke Francis's favorite self-title, servant of the servants of God. They argue only someone steeped in that humility can heal the Church's wounds. From Vatican corridors to Campo Santo to Tonico, the phrase echoes like an anthem, rallying votes toward the Filipino cardinal. Global reactions, hope and apprehension. While conclave bells toll inside, the world outside buzzes. In Manila, faithful light candles for Tegel's coronation. In Warsaw and Paris, newspapers run next in line, headlines. Yet some in Rome frown, fearing a shift too progressive, too pastoral, too fast. The Church stands at a crossroads. Move boldly forward or cling to tradition. The envelope unsealed, timing in tempest. Vatican custom dictates the note opens only once ballots commence. But no one knows the exact moment. Some say after the first ballot, others before the critical third round. When it finally appears in ornate script or plain stationery, its contents will become the conclave's secret manifesto. White smoke, a global spotlight. Then, amid high drama, the Sistine chimney will vent puffs of pale smoke, followed by a burst of applause below. The bells will ring, and a new pope will step onto the balcony. If Tegel emerges, Francis's vision lives on in flesh and blood. If not, the Church will wonder if Providence chose differently. Yet the envelope's echo will endure. Epilogue, legacy beyond the tiara. Whether Cardinal Tegel dons the white mozzetta or serves another cycle, Francis's true succession lies in the transformation of the voting body. By elevating fresh faces from every continent, he rewrote conclave politics forever. The next pope, chosen by prayer and conscience, will stand on his groundbreaking foundation. Was it destiny or design? Finally, the Church will ask, did Francis merely whisper hopes, or did he engineer a divine handoff? The sealed letter, the private praises, the global reshuffle of cardinals, all point to a succession plan that blurred law and legacy, ritual and rumor. Amid the fanfare and faith, one truth remains. Pope Francis' spirit still moves the Church. Quietly, persistently, and forever.